New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Reverend Robert with you here on the New Thought Media Network. Oh, we've got the new setup going. Yeah. StreamYard's done something cool for us. They've given us a new solo background layout so we can control the background when we're here solo. Excuse me. Now I've got more work to do. We'll create something with some new flashy ways to utilize that space and remind you that this is the New Thought Media Network. Thank you for being with us. It's Friday evening. It's Christmas Eve for those that celebrate Christmas. Thank you for being part of what we're doing here this evening. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, thank you for being a part of what we're doing here tonight as well. Excuse me. This is the Good News, a weekly collection of good news stories that I have found throughout and around the web. And the first thing I'd like to do tonight is introduce you here to Davon Johnson. Excuse me. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that improperly. Davon's 11 years old and saved 2 lives in 2 different incidences, all in the same day. He was recognized as an honorary police chief and a fire chief, or honorary police and fire officer award for doing this. What happened is during the early part of the morning of his day, he was at school, and there we go. That's what we're looking for. And he saw a fellow student accidentally swallowed a bottle cap, came stumbling into his classroom. He realized what was happening, rushed over to him, performed the Heimlich maneuver, and saved the young man's life. Later that afternoon, he was walking home from school and saw a burning building and a burning house, realized there was an elderly woman who wasn't going to make it out of the house with a walker, rushed into the building and brought the woman to safety. Way to go. Oh my gosh, this is one of those stories that I love to see. And while this is the Facebook post from the city of Muskogee, we found this shot over on the Good News Network .org. Now, they're not a sponsor, although we would love if they were, but we found that story over on the Good News Network, and excuse me. And they find a whole ton of really great stories. And I love being able to share those with you. That's what we're about here. And in the coming days, coming weeks, coming months, as we continue to share more of these stories, we invite you to come be a part of the Good News Network team. If you hear of a good news story, or you run across a story you think we should cover, that you think we should focus on, by all means, let us know about that. We have an email. Here it is, goodnews@ntmedia.org. Wayne Baldwin, good to see you, brother. Merry Christmas to you. Glad you're with us. So grateful you're with us, sir. Thank you for being here. Okay, this next story is another one that captures my heart. It turns out this young man who's confined to a wheelchair, has been since age 2, Ryder Killam and this is so cute. Look at this picture here. He was forced to battle the rain and the weather waiting for the school bus. His father attempted to do something by putting up an umbrella for him, and a local high school teacher caught wind of this and said, "Hey, this is not going to happen. This is not going to do." And they built the young man a structure, and they built him his own place to be. It's a rather large looking structure. Home Depot donated a few $100s worth of material, and then other material was donated, and funds were raised to help this young man have a place to stay and get out of the weather. Living in Rhode Island, living anywhere near New England, if you've ever been there, you know this is not the place you want to just be out in the weather and in the elements, and such. So we're happy to see that story. Now I'm sitting here in Denver. I want you to know I'm sitting here in Denver. It's Christmas Eve, and it rained at my house today. Now, if there was ever an indication that there is a shift in the climate, there's no question that this is part of it. And climate change is real, and there's things that we can do to support and make and take care of that a little bit more. I like this story. More cities are making the switch from salt to sugar beet products. Now, it turns out there's some chemical ways of moving and bringing beet products together. There's municipalities all across the country that are doing this, and this is one of the things that I saw interesting. Around 15 to 17 million tons of rock salt are poured on U.S. roadways every year. All of that salt is going somewhere. Now, we know this isn't good for the environment, and there's companies that are starting to bring together these sugar beet products. And the benefit from using sugar beet-based melting products is that it reduces the chloride loading on infrastructure and the environment while producing a good quality melting solution. Actually keeps water more soluble, warmer, longer, so that it doesn't melt or it doesn't freeze over. This is the kind of innovative thinking that I believe is completely in alignment with what we believe here on New Thought Media Network. There is a solution, sometimes spiritual solution, sometimes that perspective needs to be a spiritual one, but there's a solution to every concern, to any problem, to anything we might think out there that is and all we have to do is think differently and think in a more innovative way. That story reminds me that's exactly what we're doing. And that's what we're doing here, not only on the network, but specifically with this show. Again, if you know of a good story, or you'd like to come on to the show tonight or anytime and share a good news story. Not tonight. I don't have a producer tonight. But ultimately, if you'd like to share a story with us, we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to be able to bring you into what we're doing. One of the things we like to focus on a lot, or that I have focused on in this program, and some may remember this used to be a podcast, audio only podcast. Now we're moving it into this video broadcast. And now, so one of the things that I've always really been enamored by and looking at is the future, a future vision of how we get together on planet Earth. And this story, I think, is really, really cool. The world's first 3D printed house made of local raw earth, and it closes the roof with a dome. Now, this is pretty cool stuff. Basically, what they're doing is using clay, and it's a double-armed 3D printer that is using the clay in the area to use that to print it. There's some pictures you can see there. What an innovative idea to be able to actually create from the most sustainable material available, nature, and what's available and what's directly there. I love this idea. Now, again, these stories are all available over on the Good News Network. Please do drop in on their site and say hello and check in with them and let them know that you're with them. They have lots and lots of stories, and we do have other sites. However, our show is kind of stacked towards the front side, towards their site. They had the best collection of stories this week to choose from, and there were so many good stories. I don't always get to all of them, but we are working to get you and to share more and more of these good news stories with you. Again, our email there, goodnews@ntmedia.org. All right, I need to get rid of that story so we can go to the next one. Now, this is another one. A lot of things you're going to see with us around here. I want to know what's the cutting edge when it comes to EV batteries. And we're going to talk a lot about that. You'll see more and more about it. This one's interesting. Scientists create a biodegradable battery that can be buried in the soil after use. The article indicates that it takes about a month for it to biodegrade, and it's going to be. The idea is, now this is all in production or in testing, I should say. And the idea is that it's a paper thin biodegradable zinc battery. It'll be used mostly in things, wearables, smartphones, other small devices, other things that don't have much room. And you'll be able to pop in a battery and pop out a battery, and off you go. Now, the idea that it could be biodegradable, that goes a long, long way, in my perspective, to say that this is also another one of those places where we have to look at renew, reuse, recycle, whatever it might take to be better stewards of planet Earth, number one, and to be more in alignment with the recognition we're living in a holistic society. We're living in a holistic universe. We're living in a holistic world. Everything that's happening has impact on other aspects of our lives and the lives of those around us. And in New Thought, I like to, and many of our colleagues here on the network like to look at a greater perspective of generationally. What is it we're doing today and tomorrow that generationally will come forward to support a world that works for everyone and supports humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence? That's, that is what we're about. And in many ways, our next story here, clicking the wrong button there, it's Christmas Eve. Everybody went home and sent everybody home. I'm running the show solo this weekend for a while here, folks. So we're grateful you're with us. This next story is another one. There is now a real life study on CBD products, and it finds that there are improvements in pain, anxiety, and sleep. This is the original story comes from the World at Large. Again, I found it here on the Good News Network, and this is known as the ACEs trial. There's links here so you can go check all this out. That stands for the Advanced CBD Education and Science. Participants experienced a 71% improvement in their well-being on average, 63% experienced an improvement in anxiety and sleep quality, and 47% experienced improvement in pain levels. 61% of participants reported an effect within 1 to 4 hours of taking the product that they use. This is pretty important stuff, if you ask me. And we've been on the CBD train for quite a while now, and believe and have a favorite product. If you'd like to know more, send me a DM. We'll talk about it. But the idea that there are now more and more studies becoming available. This was 3,000 participants. And that again and again, the study showed that the CBD from the hemp products and marijuana products, whether it's from hemp or marijuana, whatever you want to look at it, CBD is CBD. It's different. It's different than the THC. It's not the psychoactive, but it works with our cannabinoid system inside the body to again bring us better into a more alignment with a wholeness and a holistic perspective and approach to life. I'm a big believer in plant medicine, not a big believer in chemicals, but a big believer in plant medicine. I encourage you to head over to the Good News Network, check out that article, and learn and take a look at it for yourself. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm just here to share with you what I think are some of the most inspiring stories out there, and this next one is really, really important. I know once I read this story, I realized I had lost track of the whole concept that this was going on. So a while back, you may remember it was all in the news that the Great Barrier Reef had its problems, and the Great Barrier Reef was in many ways being depleted and dying. And at that time, there was a move to create IVF babies and impregnate the reef in areas that were being depleted, where other reefs would not be able to reproduce. And those IVF babies planted back in 2016 are now giving birth and are now reproducing. And 22 large colonies born through the first coral IVF trial on the reef in 2016 have grown to maturity, filled with eggs and sperm ready to spawn after the recent full moon and the mass coral spawning event. This is another great piece of environmental news. And we're making this recovery. We're bringing back again, doing what's necessary to bring back life across this planet, to be good stewards of the life that's on this planet, and to do what we can to repair the damages that we've done. I think that's important, and I think and it's just a really, really fun story. Here's another picture of this is with mature pink eggs and sperm packets ready to spawn. That's what a coral ready to spawn looks like. So check out the story. We've got we'll share again. Just head over to Good News. Excuse me. Where are we? I thought I had a slide for that one. I don't. And I'm not going to do any typing right now to fill it out. So head over to the Good News Network and check out what they're sharing. All these stories are easy to find over on their site. We invite you to, again, check it out. But I believe it's a good reminder as we head into these holiday weekends that there's more to life, excuse the pun here, than what might meet the eye and what we might be able to see. And there's really good news coming in, a health and wellness story here tonight. A biocompatible glue for repairing corneas is a sight for sore eyes. They've got their own pun there. And I had never known this, but what I've learned is there are there's a glue that can be used when there's small rips or tears in the cornea. However, there's a lot of potentially bad side effects and a lot of adverse reactions to this glue. And the other alternative is a more invasive stapling. And I try not to say that because that just makes me not feel good just thinking about it. So I don't want you to think about it. But an assistant professor of bioengineering at the University of California, Riverside, has developed an adhesive that rapidly integrates corneal cells to speed healing and reduce the chances of secondary infection. Could be a couple more years before this is available. However, with the number of people in the U.S. That this could benefit, they estimate over 600,000, as many as 650,000 people a year could benefit from this type of technology, and a new glue helping people to recover from eye injuries. Again, good news all abounds, folks. It's everywhere we look, and it is that season. It's the Christmas season. I've got a handful of stories here left I want to share with you today, and one involves a college professor and a box full of cash. We're talking six figures, better. So, but you're going to have to stick around for that story, because before we do that, I want to take just a moment to say thank you to those that make this programming possible, our sponsors and viewers like you. Stick with us 1 minute. We'll be right back with more. And now the good news.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferlin Foundation for your generous technology grant. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
Thank you to everyone that makes New Thought Media Network possible, that's a part of this family, this community, this growing movement of peace, positivity, and personal empowerment across the land. I am so grateful to be with you. I'm Reverend Robert. This is And Now the Good News. Happens every Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. A half hour of good news stories that we believe will help support you and remind you that life's all good, right? Things are working. Tonight, this next story, now check this out. It's a physics professor. A gentleman begins his tenure and as a new chairman of the physics department, and finds a box in the corner addressed to the director of the department. He opens it up. It's got $180,000 in it. The package was originally postmarked on November 10th of 2020. It had sat around the mailroom of the university for a while. Then it made its way over to the physics department, because they were in the midst of a job search and the pandemic. Nobody actually opened it. It's an anonymous donor, or donor that wishes to remain anonymous. At first, the professor wasn't exactly sure if this was real or not. It actually called the police. They treated it as if it was, and checked it out first. And it was determined that no, this is clean money. The person involved, whose name isn't, they do have his name, he wishes to remain anonymous. And that person said that he had graduated from City College and had benefited greatly, had a great education, and did very, very well in engineering and business and in his life, and wanted to and give something back. And did. I love these kinds of stories. 'Tis the season. It's the season when we like to give back. And some people give back in mysterious ways. This one made me chuckle a little. A mystery Santa is caught on CCTV sneaking around at night, leaving gifts for residents to find. This happened over in the UK, and they do not know who this is, and nobody seems to be too worried about finding out who it is. The person has been sneaking around, leaving candy canes on car doors and on windshields for people to find. And it's in a cul-de-sac. It must be somebody close to the neighborhood, and everybody's all good with it. It's a great little but they've caught a few pictures of him in a few different outfits. Obviously, a blurry Santa, what looks like a gingerbread man in black and white, and somebody with a better camera got a color shot of this person in a Christmas tree outfit, leaving candy canes on the door. What fun! 'Tis the season to be jolly, and 'tis the season to have fun, and that's what this is so much all about. I think life is all about, and working together and being together. I want to share this is sort of a compilation story that I found over on another one of my fun sites, sunnyskies.com, and they have a whole compilation. Now, this is not a new story to New Thought Media Network. We've seen this before. People leaving great big tips and large gratuities for servers and restaurant staff, and it's now become a thing. There's a Cracker Barrel here, Rachel Barney, with a $1,300 tip on a $270 tab. It's catching on in other places. An IHOP in Virginia, $1,900 tip. 19 diners each left $100. It's actually a challenge in the world to put together a group of people and everybody leave $100 tip and make sure. Ocean Springs, Mississippi, this woman was tipped $2,200 by a large group, 20 people in the restaurant. A couple people that couldn't be there still sent in their money. She shared that with her staff, with the rest of the staff there at the restaurant. These are great stories, and this is a part of that Christmas spirit, and I like the idea that this can happen year round. Does not need to happen just at the end of the year. However, we're going to share one more really good story with you before we go tonight. This one, I like this. A sanitation company in Oregon put together probably 150 bicycles this year. Yes, assembled 150 bicycles for kids in need. It's their Christmas party, their annual holiday party for the Santa Pack company there. It's their tradition to put together bicycles and then donate them out into the world. Over 80 different workers and their families gathered for an afternoon of revelry and putting together bicycles. What a great story. I encourage and challenge each one of us to find different ways to do that in our own community. And New Thought Media Network, we've got some ideas on what we want to do coming up in 2022. We'll be sharing that with you soon. However, before we go, one last thing we do want to share, and this is, we're not going to play all of this. I just want to make you aware of it. Part of the beauty and the fun of being on a network such as this is that things happen and you don't always know how or what or when or why. And earlier today, our dear friend Ken Ludwig, I love you, brother. He just got the Christmas spirit, decided to go live and share a reading of The Night Before Christmas with us. It's a wonderful rendition. I encourage anyone.
Hope you're having a great day wherever you are.
Oh, that was the end of it. But I encourage you to go check this out. Go on over to NT Media. Do a search for hashtag New Thought Media Network. You head over there. You'll get all kinds. Oh, why is that not doing that?
Or whatever you do.
But The Night Before Christmas, presented by Ken Ludwig. Thank you, Ken, for being a part of the network. Thank you for being what you doing what you do with us. All right, I'm going to get out of here for now. Pastor Michael's up at 6 o'clock with Friday's Fireside Chat and a special edition this evening at 7 p.m. of a Taizé service with our dear friend Reverend Donna Michaels. It's a wonderful, wonderful experience of the Taizé meditation. She walks us through the whole thing, start to finish. It's about 45 minutes and a wonderful experience on holidays. We're going to be doing that tonight and next Friday night on New Year's Eve as well at the same time, so you can catch it then also. All right, folks, my name's Reverend Robert. I want to thank you for being with us this evening. Thanks for being a part of our family and our community and what we're doing and what we're building here. I'm going to get out of here for now and get myself to a little Christmas experience of food and family and a couple of close friends. So I love you. Thank you for being with us. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, peace.